What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another D&D episode. Maybe not the last one, close to the last one. But last we left off, you guys remembered the group leaving Pandaria after being attacked by some large wyverns, and Sorth telling them that we need to leave, and that she's going to teleport them to a place close by Torx Bluff, the place they need to go. As they were all teleported, grappling with Sorth, they appeared at a kind of like a huge mountainous area, where the people they seen there was very familiar, being the Turns they met at Thunder Bluff. However, these Turns seemed a little more friendlier than they remember. They were met by Alanon, the druid who met them, who teleported them to Southwest City in the Feywild, and they were met by Bane, this large Turn who seems to have this very druidic feel to him. Alan explained why he was here, saying he found Natharian's lair, or Deathwing's lair, and they're trying to investigate it. But the only way they can enter it is by someone who wields the blood of the mighty dragon can open the lock, being Arya. They decided to check out. It was rather, I think it was the top or the layer first. I believe it was the layer first. Maybe. No, they checked out the top. They went to the top of this mountain, seeing a man named Garen, this human with kind of this long hair and a kind of a broke down tower on the top of this mountain where Canwell's body lied. Canwell mentioned, not Canwell, Garen said that he took all the Dragon Slayer blood out of Canwell to himself to make himself stronger. They asked for Garen's help, telling him everything, and Garen decided, if you want to test if you want my help, then I basically have a test for you. He made them fight an ancient mountain dragon, for which they proceeded, kind of. Our Caspian and Aldrax were kind of thrown off the mountain, but managed to be saved by Maldrix. But they did manage to get him down low enough that Garen intervened, killing the dragon, and thus agreeing to help them. They then made their way to Natharian's lair, where a humanoid form, kind of made out of pure flame, being Natharian's human form and Deathwing's human form, told them you basically won't find anything. But they did manage to find a bunch of papers and all kinds of different belongings that seemed very important inside this arcane check, for which this caused these kind of like these rage demons to spawn, and they defeated them. They learned that Deathwing's armor was made out of adamantine, the strongest metal, and they learned the location of the mages, or where they were planning on attacking. I said, okay. Alright. They then, after High Mountain, I believe, they decided to kind of plan on what we should do. They decided to head to Dalaran, being heard that it has fallen and fell into the water close to Deepholm. They learned that the Mystic Dragon, the one that attacked Kriv and Vash, was in Silverman City. The Lightning Dragon was in Stormwind. The Sea Dragon in Dalaran. The Nature Dragon in Darnassus. The Fire Dragon in Orgrimmar. The Air Dragon in Thunder Bluff. The Ice Dragon in Borderia Tundra. The Magma Dragon in the Nine Hills. And the Light Dragon in Deepholm. Decided to take on the Sea Dragon first, being, Dalaran's a very magical place. Hopefully if there's any survivors as well, they get there. They made their way there, fighting some kind of water elementals and some core drakes before making their way inside, seeing some mind flares, hearing that mind flares have taken over Dalaran, taking all their brains and stuff like that. They heard that they managed to kind of make their way through, seeing some coffins that had some name tags on side, which were Wayrin and Khadgar. Raven being the old Archmage whose brain was removed, and Khadgar's as well. and the last one said Finnegan, but Finnegan's was empty. Khadgar also had a legendary book inside called the Dawning Tome, which was a ancient relic or artifact hidden. Caspian, before they actually left it on, Mordred gave her kind of a note explaining where all these ancient relics are, so they can take their time off of these main dragons and stop fighting everything and just, prepare for the ending battle. Taking this tome, being this legendary tome, they made their way through, stumbling into a room, finding Lily, L'Oreal and Finnegan, as well as Arya's family surrounding Lily's corpse on the ground. Lily was apparently killed protecting Arya's family. They decided to continue making their way around. When they went inside the coffin room, they were attacked by some mind flayers as well. They were stunned. Caspian, Aldrax, and I forget who else was stunned. But one of the mind flayers attacking Caspian was managed to extract her brain. Now, Caspian having this Lord of Terror inside of her, whenever she is killed, the demon would be released. However, the note that Mordred gave her, like I mentioned earlier, had a necklace attached to it as well. The necklace contained 2 crystals. One crystal that when Caspian wore it, it glowed white. It glowed. That had a C on it. The other crystal, right beside it, was empty and had an M on it. When Caspian's brain was distracted, she died instantly. For some reason, instead of the Lord of Terror spawning out, the crystal with an M on it lit up a dark, dark red, and Caspian was brought back. After they, not really brought back, I think she was still dead. But they managed to kind of kill these mind flayers and bring Caspian back. Taking a little bit of a rest before making their way up to kind of the center room where they found the Elder Brain and some mind flayers. Fighting the Elder Brain, they also heard some mind flayers talking about the relics that had been found. A deal is a deal. They then managed to kill the Elder Brain, these mind flayers, and they had some time to rest again before the Elemental Mage of Water appeared, as well as the dragon. As they quickly went into battle with this, as they slowly saw the Elemental Mage of Water begin to get weakened, she began to move all the Dalaran and began to push it. As they were fighting on this kind of moving castle now, floating towards, they don't know which direction, fighting a dragon and everything, they managed to defeat the Elemental Mage of Water. As soon as Dalaran seeming to go inside Deepholm began to fall, Deepholm being a huge pit, they fell straight down, and everyone who couldn't fly, being the only one I believe was Kriv, as Maldrix helped everyone else, Kriv still being stuck down below. He was kind of managing the boat. Slammed down into now Deepholm. Sorry. Deepholm being where Caspian needed to go to complete the final process of eliminating the Lord of Terror. However, when they kind of landed here and kind of looked around, Finnegan, L'Oreal, kind of making sure everyone's okay, they met a familiar figure to mainly Aldrax, being Helgen, the kind of Aldrax's kind of stepfather, and the guy who had a bunch of cards who made deals with him in kind of in the very beginning when they first found Aldrax. Next to Helgen was a very demonic, black-skinned, horned Mordred, who seemingly was infected now with a Lord of Terror. As another portal opened up, this green portal, Isaac stepped out. And now sensing that Caspian is inside the inside Deepholm, revealed that he does have the cube, and he did promise to help. Now, them having a little bit of an army, Finnegan, Helgen, Isaac, and L'Oreal, to aid them in this final fight. They decided to kind of look around, check out this tower, being a decent-sized tower, kind of a nice arena. They decided to quickly kind of prepare for this. Lots of haste runes, and a teleportation room and a whole plan to basically have Maldrix teleport on top of this large, ancient old magic pillar on top of this temple, and then turn into this big ass dinosaur to fall on the Lord of Terror, probably, hopefully, to killing it. Once they were readied up, they decided to fight the Lord of Terror. Mordred had to impale himself. Caspian had to convince him to. Mordred, assumingly dying, as he stabbed himself, the Lord of Terror did bust out, being this large, almost gargantuan being of pure red and just a huge monstrosity. As soon as he spawned, he slammed his foot down, and they watched Mordred's soul slowly slip out of his body and into the Lord of Terror's mouth. This is where the fight with Diablo began, as Maldrix tried his plan, trying to crush him with the dinosaur. However, the plan did not work, and it was just a huge fight. During the fight, when I guess the Lord of Terror was about halfway defeated, he sent them to the kind of like the Shadow Realm, the true realm of terror, where they had to fight kind of their, almost kind of like their most loved ones. Caspian had to fight Mordred, Vash fought Kadia, Maldrix fought Kata, his kind of spy mistress. Aldrex was Caspian, Arya was Jenna, Kriv would have been Aldria, L'Oreal saw Gilmore, Helgren saw Aldrax, Isaac saw his wife, and Finnegan saw Raven. During this fight, Vash, unfortunately, went unconscious, and the Lord of Terror's special ability is that he can basically consume someone's souls as a bonus action. As Vash was his eyes closed, still in the realm of terror, few people, I believe, saw Vash's soul slowly be ripped out of his body. Slowly, as it kind of came out of his mouth, his eyes, into the air, and into the Lord of Terror's mouth. Vash's body lied there cold, motionless, his soul now obliterated. Vash was no more during this fight. As well as L'Oreal and Finnegan, who were hit by a torrent of fire and lightning. Their souls as well were ripped from their bodies and into the Lord of Terror's mouth. Finally defeating the Lord of Terror. Quite a bit of death lied here after Helgen being the only one that can imprison the Lord of Terror, for he is reborn just from the terror that people cause. Or the terror that people feel. Caspian, now the resurrection cube in her hands, had a choice to revive Mordred, her loved one, Finnegan, L'Oreal, or Vash. All whose souls were obliterated. The resurrection cube being a item made by the deity of the Raven Queen to cheat death. She then decided to bring back Mordred, her loved one, the Guardian, the first Guardian, and Mordred was returned. However, Vash, L'Oreal, and Finnegan were gone forever. As they kind of wondered what to do next, they met a kind of this, not really a dwarf creature, but this weird dark gray-skinned being known as Orn, who explained that it was he that kind of helped Deathwing, for Deathwing helped him with a lot of blacksmithing, kind of put the armor on him, brought him back to life. And he can repair the ward pillar to bring Dalaran back to its normal state and get them all out of here. Orn eventually doing this, they were all teleported to a very safe place, actually, which was, I can find it, I swear. Wait. 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 Is it gone? Hold up. Oh, it's right here. They went to the summer court. Kind of flying above, they landed where, just kind of above this whole place. As they made their way down, they saw a bunch of, kind of dryads and satyrs, and just a bunch of, weird fae creatures. They were met by Keyleth, who told them that everyone is in the courtroom. They were told that they need to participate in the court, but they had some stuff to do by telling Katya that Vash had passed, and seeing that Sophie is now 9 years old, surprisingly. They gave Sophie the bow and daggers that Vash has had Astra, and Katya kind of needed a little bit of time to adjust to this, or just get used to this information that she has just received. The group now kind of in a weird state. They rested before entering into the courtroom, as they heard all kinds of different people in here, being Bane, Tathan of Silvermoon, Lucian of Stormwind, Teresa of Ironforge, Kada, Storlath of these kind of Draenei people, Anaris, Luke from Pandaria, Sorth, Illidan of the Demon Hunters, Rulao of the Worgans, Alistair, Adeline, Keyleth, all kinds of different people. They were basically saying that killing the elemental mages is causing the elements to go rapid. Their best chance to kill them all at once, have an army, put all of them down at once, and then have kind of like a backup army to secure the elements quickly after they're defeated, to ensure they don't break into like a whole, basically destroyed state. They all kind of agreed, trying to think of who to go after who. They asked the Heroes of Zatav to kill one more mage, being Shadow, the elemental mage they had so much, I guess, beef with. And they decided, sure, we can do that. We're fight Shadow. They decided, okay, but we're gonna do some stuff first, and that was go on some lots and lots of different side quests. Lucian or Mordred did tell them that if they need some help, someone is planning on going down to the Nine Hells to help some survivors for one of the weapons. It's called Agony, which is in the Nine Hells, the first layer of Avernus, where a bunch of people are kind of trapped down there if they make bad deals, where they had to basically go down here, help a tiefling make their way into this prison, where they met Tordek, the dwarf cleric who they loved so much that did not actually die. He was just imprisoned and tortured for a while. They saved him, got this legendary flare, made their way out. They got all kinds of different armor, from rather being Maldrix making doing a little bit of a card game with a fire giant, kind of the prize being this legendary cloak is Zigmoris' ruin. If Maldrix wins, or if the giant wins, Caspian's basically body, or her soul, imprisoned. A whole lot of different stuff. But they eventually managed to get it all, and decided, okay, we think we're ready to go get Surmar. They then decided to they were teleported to Surmar's location, which was this kind of opened up area besides this giant purple orb that rests in the middle. It kind of lit up the area. As they arrived, they met Shadow, but not just one Shadow, two Shadows, and her large, ancient Shadow Dragon. They began to have a fight with her, of course. the orb causing different rays to shoot out and kind of have an anti-magic cone. This new person they met, Atheon, who was kind of making his way to the Nine Hells, they recruited him to have him come with us, being kind of a new ally. So I'm thinking it's too soon, knowing that Vash has left, Atheon being Jake's new character. As they kind of fought with Shadow, the two Shadows, this large dragon, as Maurix turned himself into a dragon. Had this epic dragon war, which is pretty badass. They fought and fought. Shadow almost getting away before Atheon managed to grab a hold of her, not letting her go. So the group beat the shit out of these two people. Not a lot of people dying, if I believe Aldrax and Atheon being kind of killed outright by the powered kill spell, but were managed to get brought back. They then watched Shadow's body disappear into the orb and kind of shoot this large purple ray up into the sky. Keyleth teleporting to them afterwards as a bunch of mages kind of rushed in. Keyleth teleported them all back to the Summer Court, where they were the first ones to arrive. Weirdly enough. Slowly, everyone began to return as well, besides Mordred, Keda, Alanon, and Bane. And Adeline. Lucian basically explaining the fights were difficult, but they all made it. Lucy mentioned he went to Stormwind, couldn't find Guillermo's body. He saw Deathwing in his human form out towards the Aurora Gardens, kind of looking out the peak of the world where Vash and Kriv got jumped. They have all the relics ready. Take whatever relics you need for this fight. However, when you guys fight Deathwing, you'll not be alone. Lucy and I will help you. Finola, the Grand Life Cleric, will help you. Ava, the creator and leader of the Gunslingers, will help you. Shyvanis, the guard captain, will be flying on a battle airship with cannons, thanks to Ava. As well as some other gunslingers assisting as well. They all decided, cool, awesome. However, another portal opened up in this room, being a kind of the void portal they've seen once before, as a man named as Kadir kind of stepped in, being the first Void Watcher, telling them that the huge comet in the sky known as Pellar's Light has been corrupted, being this kind of dark void now is heading down straight to Zav. Lucian told them all to go check it out, as the group decided to go check out this comet, this huge meteor. As they made their way there, they were met by Mordred, who kind of signaled them to stay back, as a whole bunch of different guardians kind of signaled around, being some guardians kind of back in their normal place. As well as Keda, Alanon, Bane, and Adeline. And a variety of druids, mages, clerics, warlocks, all kind of gathered around this comet, the guardians kind of pushing everyone back around in a certain radius, standing far away from this comet, making sure no one gets too close, besides the people that are trained to help. Yeah, seeing this huge kind of meteor now heading down, they saw two little dots as well making their way down. The dots hitting first, as Adeline kind of got curious, walked over to these, saw two figures she remembered, or very much recognized, being Anaris, kind of basically her grandpa, and Alistair, her dad, and the old king of Stormwind. She kind of freaked out and screamed, causing a lot of the mages and druids to kind of turn around, as Bane kind of commanding all these people to, focus all your power and your energy onto this comet. Yelled at them as all the mages and druids kind of looked back to see what was going on. This caused the comet to quickly fasten up and slam into the ground, causing blackness and these dark lights all around. They saw that this similar-looking water substance kind of coming out of this now meteor hitting the ground. Bane and Alanon crushed by the comet. Adeline and Keda on the outer rim of the comet, standing in this weird substance as tendrils began to wrap around them, digging inside their skin turning to a dark purple and tendrils exploding from their bodies. Their eyes now dripping with this purple ooze. Mordred kind of screamed as the group quickly began to fight these weird beings and these void creatures. After defeating them, they saw kind of this figure slowly rise down. As he said, basically, greetings. I am Neural, the most favorited god among the lands, kind of like the god of death that they had, that the kind of story kind of tags to in the very beginning, where Vash and Canwell kind of interrupted a little ritual going on, but didn't apparently stop it enough. Nora kind of greeted them, saying that he basically killed Pelor, and that he hurt, if not killed, the Raven Queen. He also kind of laughed at him and then began to rise up a Tarrasque, a Void Tarrasque, known as Terry the Tarrasque, the Void Tarrasque. He then teleported him and the Tarrasque away, saying he would meet them at Deathwing. Mordred, kind of confused at what the heck just happened, decided to head back to Lucian to tell him what just happened. As they headed back there, Keyleth... Ouch. I punched the table. Lucian was really concerned. Keyleth said, we need to do something at Pella's Light. Nora and the Raven Queen disliked each other. Raven Queen and Nora fought each other back. Some say that some of the other deities created a Chamber of God sealing in the Shadowfell. So Keyleth basically suggested to go to Mount Celestia to talk to Pelor if there is one there, or go to Shadowfell. They decided to head to Shadowfell first to try to fix Kriv, because Kriv was infected with this void disease. As they talked to the Raven Queen, she was still alive, very much hurt, but they managed to help her with Tordek's help. She explained that there's a large forest kind of far back behind her castle that's protected by 4 spires that kind of keep this barrier open. However, the barrier was some reason, or the barriers keep the barrier closed, but the barrier is open. They had to go to these 4 towering spires in each corner of the forest and kind of talk with these 3 ladies and 1 lord. Seemingly doing it without ease. However, the lord was a little bit manipulative and tried to make Maldrix do some really weird things that I won't mention in this video, for good reasons. Sorry, Matthew. But they did manage to open up the seal once more, and Yennefer, or the Raven Queen, thanked them all, and was managed to kind of hold Kriv's process and dying for this void. Gave them the Scroll of Sealing, which can imprison Neural, which also makes you super smart. They also were teleported out of there, head to Mount Celestia, where all these beings, these kind of blue, I want to say they're, what are they called? They're muscular and hairless humanoids with green skin and white feather rings. I totally forget what they're called. Anyways, they said that Pella was waiting for them as they made their way up the staircase. They met a kind of a large old man looking figure who introduced himself as Pelor, who told them the secret to Pella's Light. That Pella's Light, the reason it gives so much, how it can cure diseases, make everyone healthy, make food grow, life itself, is because the comet's made out of life itself. But what he means by that is followers, or a follower, a certain devotee or a chosen of Pelor, can basically walk into this Pelor, giving their life, causing Pelor's light to bloom. Pelor said that, I can make one of you my champion. However, you would have to give your life. Audrax already followed the Raven Queen. He couldn't. Caspian had the Void. Atheon followed Bahamut. Maldrix seemed kind of keen and thinking about, okay, I could do this. He also said that, Pelor also said that there's a couple other individuals, being Mordred and Keyleth. Caspian said, oh, hell no, not to Mordred. They decided to teleport Keyleth here, and Keyleth said she would. And the group said their goodbyes to Keyleth, for she stayed with Pelor, waiting for the final moment after Deathwing is defeated, to make her way into the comet. The group now heading back, preparing for the final fight, and that's what I'm going to end this episode here. If you guys enjoyed, make sure to leave a like and subscribe for more, and the next video will be the final episode of my campaign. Thank you guys very much for watching. I'll see you guys all in the next video. Bye-bye.